Hey there, welcome to 2 for Tuesday, where I share tips on how you can better safeguard your kids as they navigate through these crazy times of technology. And tonight we're going to talk about Chromebooks and the school issued Chromebooks. So I'm Mo McClanahan, and I am the Director of Training and Education with Safe Surfing Foundation. I am also an investigator for the Christiansburg Police Department, where I work internet crimes against children, and I've been doing that for the last 8 years. And part of my job and my position is education. And so I've been blessed to have been added to the Safe Surfing Foundation team, and we are excited to deliver every Tuesday some education when it comes to some hot topics of what's going on with technology in our kids and what are we seeing in trends and statistics and all of that, so we can create awareness for you parents and then equip you and empower you to have these tough conversations with your kids, and also educate them on the dangers and really just open up conversations in your home so you guys can better safeguard them, and also give them some tips and tools on how they can protect themselves and empower them to do that. And tonight our topic is Chromebooks, the school issued Chromebooks. Now, I don't know about you, but who else is feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit overwhelmed when it comes to your kids bringing home these Chromebooks? And maybe you're not ready. Maybe your kids are not in the grade that you expected them to have a Chromebook. Like my son is in 3rd, came home with his Chromebook. If you ask him how school went, what did he like best about it, and it was bringing home that Chromebook. And right before jumping on here, he was trying to navigate into the Google Classroom, which I too have to learn. And there's going to be a lot of, back and forth trying to figure out how to do this, both with the children and with us as parents. But I am here to talk about some of the things that can be dangerous when it comes to the Chromebook. So again, our 2 for Tuesday is we hit on a hot topic and we talk a little bit about some of the dangers so you are made aware of what's going on. And then I share some tips so you walk away feeling equipped, empowered, and educated. So let's start with some of the things to really be concerned about when it comes to the Chromebooks. Now, every school district is different, so I am just going to speak broadly when it comes to these Chromebooks and the issuing of them, and some of the really basic dangers that you need to look at. So first of all, they're connected to the internet, right? So the Chromebooks are going to be connected through the school Wi-Fi while they're at school, but once they're at home, they are connected to your home Wi-Fi. So access to the internet is pretty much unlimited between those two places. So you have to be aware of what they really do have access to. Another dangerous thing is the web camera. I remember having a parent come to me several years ago after a presentation, and she stated that her daughter had sent some pictures, and though she didn't have access to any electronics, but the school Chromebook, she had no idea how the child could have sent these images because she was under the impression that the web cameras were turned off. So web cameras can be, they can be hacked into remotely. Malware can be added onto your computer, and they can get through to the web cameras. So again, just be aware of that. And then another danger is they're using Google. So they're using Google Classroom, but what is also attached to Google that a lot of people don't think about is Google Hangouts. And to me, that's just another means of like a social media. It's a means of direct messaging, and you can actually go into Hangout rooms and find people. And so those are just some of the general dangers that you really need to be aware of. There's a lot more specific things to be concerned about as well. So I want to encourage you to send some, any kind of messages or comments or questions to Safe Surfing, and we will make sure that we get those answered. So if you have something specific involving an electronic or the Chromebook, please send us those questions and we'll make sure that we can answer those directly. But for now, we're just going to talk about those three main areas of concern. So now that we have opened up that topic of the dangers of having access to the internet, maybe before you really want your child at that age to have access to things, and the web camera use and also the Google Hangouts. And again, you're probably saying, well, my child probably doesn't know how to access any of that, but I can guarantee you that once you give them access, they're going to be curious. They're going to want to look. They're not doing anything malicious, but that's just kids being kids. And unfortunately, they are given these devices for learning, but at the same time, they will get, curious, and they're going to want to go off the grid a little bit. So some of the tips from me to share with you when it comes to these Chromebooks is, one, talk to your school. Ask them, what kind of software do you have installed? Are you blocking any specific sites? And does that blocking and that software still work if they're on the Wi-Fi at home? I actually just had my son mention that his teacher told him that whatever he is doing on that Chromebook, that it's only used for homework. If he were to go onto YouTube or something, she'd be able to see that. So I'm curious as well what kind of monitoring system our school system is using, but whether they're monitoring it directly in real time, are they getting flagged? Ask these questions to your either school administrator or your school board, and make sure you're in the know. Make sure you feel confident with your child having that Chromebook and that they're being protected both at school and at home. So a lot of the schools, they can block certain sites just through their IP address. So an IP address is the specific route into their Wi-Fi at school, and so they can specifically go into their router and block certain sites. But then when they bring the Chromebook to home, is that, your home has to be set up the same way to block those sites as well. So make sure you just know what they're using and how it works and what sites it's blocking. The other thing is, ask them about the web camera. Some places they're disabling, sorry, I couldn't think of the word. They're disabling the web cameras because they're not using Zoom for any purpose. Like, my child is a hybrid, so he's actually going into class and then coming home and having to do work online, but there is no Zoom interaction that he needs, so he wouldn't need access to the web camera. So ask them, are they disabling them? And if not, do they have specific settings for them to only be used when they're using Zoom or something? So like on your iDevice or Android, you can go into an iPhone or an iPad and use screen time and only allow access to the camera using specific apps. So ask them that question. Ask them, just ask them all the questions. That's what I say. And that way you feel a bit empowered to really be more involved in what's going on with these Chromebooks, and you're not taken by surprise when something does happen. And then also ask about the Google Hangouts. Ask if the children have access to that, if that's something specifically blocked. Again, my son mentioned going to YouTube, and that being something that if he were to do that, the teacher would see. Well, he's not allowed on YouTube. That is a site that we do not allow him to have access to, even YouTube Kids. And so that's a family rule. So I'm curious to know, even if he tried, would he have access? Because even though she can see it, it's after the fact. So does that mean that he still can have access to it? So I'm curious, just as you are. This is all new in our family as well. And I just want to give you a few tips to get you started and feeling better about it. This season is crazy for everybody. There's no reason that you should feel one more thing to be overwhelmed about or anxious about. So if I can create just a little bit of ease in your life, some peace of mind, then that's what I'm here for. So I hope these tips have really helped you and maybe just given you a few steps to go forward into feeling better and to really having a little bit more of control when it comes to the Chromebooks. Also, my rule of thumb always is that no electronics in the bedroom, no electronics in the bathroom, and that includes the tablets, phones, and the Chromebooks. So I always remind people in my generation that when we were growing up and laptops were a new thing, or even computers were a new thing, they didn't go in our bedrooms. They always went into a community area in the home, and that's so the parents could have eyes on. And nothing has changed. That is still a rule and should be in all homes. And I can tell you that the cases that I work when it comes to sexual solicitation of minors online or cyberbullying or any of that, most of the conversations are being had during the middle of the night and in the bedrooms. I've even seen pictures and videos taken in the bathroom to be suggestive in nature with children as young as 11. And so just be aware that that is something going on. The web camera possibly could get hacked into through malware, and that you are still keeping that peace of mind of the rule, the universal rule that the electronics should not be in private areas. And I did want to, I'm not quite sure where, if you can purchase these. I have received several just through conferences, but what this is a little slide that goes on over top of your web camera. And that way you don't have to put like Scotch tape over it. But when you're not using it, you close it. And then if, say, something did happen and there was access into the web camera, you would still be protecting your little one from being viewed or having still images taken of them. And I will definitely, if I find out that there's a link to purchase these, then I will make sure that I connect it to the video. But just try to find, this is from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, but I've gotten some from other companies just as giveaways. So definitely look for some form of a screen or a protector when it comes to the web camera. So again, hopefully these were helpful. If you know somebody that's feeling overwhelmed, a parent, and they're not quite sure what to do, how to feel about it, please share this video, and that way I hope it gives them a little peace of mind and some action steps to really just feel a little bit more in control when it comes to the way that school is going. I know, like I mentioned, that my son is going half days and that it's a hybrid. Honestly, though, that's what's going on this week. Who knows what's going to happen next week? And I want to make sure that you guys are in control of protecting your children. So again, hopefully that that helped. Make sure you join in every Tuesday here at 7 p.m. EST with more tips and tricks and just some ways to better safeguard you and your family from being preyed upon by the predators online that are anxiously waiting for our children to be on there. So hope you have a great night and see you next week.